Yep.
We're ready. Let's do it. Boom. Good morning, everyone. It is, for us, Tuesday night. And we are doing one of those long-lost night streams.
We got the lights down. We got the mood changed. We got Will back there rocking his headphones, ready to roll, looking like a DJ.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, brother. That's
And
always
it's good to see everyone joining us this early morning.
All you hustlers, all you guys who are out there trying to make something happen, respect.
I do want to point out that I am rocking.
Oh, yeah. They look good.
Yeah, they do look
They
good.
look good.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I am totally rocking them. I'm a fan.
Yes, the Air Max 90s, in my opinion, are the best category of shoes that Nike makes.
It's interesting because I actually even wear Air Max 90 golf shoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they made those.
Yeah, they make Air Max 90 golf shoes, and ever since I found them, it's probably one of my favorite shoes to wear on the golf course.
There's nothing like Air Max 90s, man. They're stylish, they're form-fitting, they're actually functional, and they just look good.
Because they feel like regular sneakers, except they got some spikes on the bottom for grip. So, yeah, I love them. And people always compliment me.
So do you think Tiger Woods made golf stylish? He was the one that was rocking Nike back in the beginning, right? Before that, it was very much like crocodile stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, he brought more athleticism into it. And then, I don't know, there's been a huge shift in golf. So people are wearing joggers in golf. That's a big thing. Golf hoodies is a big thing now. I remember when I started wearing hoodies at the golf course, people were like, "Ooh, I don't know if you're allowed to wear that."
I knew things were changing when I started seeing videos of ladies wearing the yoga pants in their golf. And it's just like, what are you really showing us here? Is it really the form that we're looking for here?
I am not bad at the new ladies' golf clothes. I'm just going to say.
He ain't mad at you.
He ain't
mad at you, girl. He ain't mad at you. You keep going. You're doing your damn thing.
Well, so happy Thursday, everybody. It's a different type of week this week because we had a lot of political news this week. And there's a few topics I kind of want to touch on. And I guess I want to start at the news that Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News.
That really shocked me.
I think there are very rare times where that type of news shocks the entire community and the entire internet. And Tucker Carlson abruptly leaving was one of those moments. I watched him last Friday. And on Friday, actually...
so you watched his last episode?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Not knowing it was last episode. Nothing about that episode said he's not coming back. I think actually he did a bit with a pizza guy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So he did... That guy, there was a robber or someone... He was running away from a stolen car and the police were chasing him. He was delivering pizza. And he stuck out his leg and tripped the guy and stopped him. So Tucker thought that was an interesting story. They called him Employee of the Week or something. And they put him on the show. And then they brought him in on Friday to deliver pizza, and that's how they ended the week.
I think he delivered the nastiest version. Didn't he deliver a Hawaiian pizza or some?
It was worse. It was sausage and pineapple.
Oh, sausage and pineapple. Actually, I ain't gonna be mad at that because sausage and pineapple actually kind of taste good. Have you ever tried pineapple pizza?
My wife likes pineapple on the pizza, so I'm like, my favorite pizza when I was in college was Pizza Hut, and it was pepperoni, pineapple, onions, and jalapeno on the side.
Ooh, that sounds like a college snack.
That was pretty good because you get a lot of the sweet, salty, and everything. And, if you're kind of high or drunk or whatever, it's perfect.
Not that he's condoning any of this.
Or maybe I am. It's late night.
It's late night talk, guys.
Do not come.
So that was really interesting because he signed off saying, "See you guys on Monday."
Oh, did he?
He did.
I didn't know. Okay.
He had no intent. There was no vibe that this was it for him.
Do you think that's because he's an amazing actor and he's a TV personality, so he knows how to hold it in, or was it really one of those things that happened over the weekend? What do you think?
I think he had no idea. I don't think he knew at all.
Has he tweeted recently about it?
No.
Or anything like that?
No. He probably is under some sort of non-compete, and he probably can't speak on it just yet. I bet you there's lawyers involved. I bet you every single independent media stream in the world is going after him right now.
I'm sure he will. First and foremost, he absolutely is a hot commodity.
Correct.
Right.
$100 million, $200 million guy.
Yeah. So I actually see this as a good thing.
For him?
Yes, 100%. And the reason is now no longer has any shackles. He no longer has any chains in terms of what he's able to say.
A Tucker Carlson unfiltered. This is a guy that grew up in Washington, grew up around the swamp, the establishment, was deep into it, and he understands it probably better than almost everyone else.
Probably.
Actually, Will, can you pull up that one clip? I want to watch this one clip. I call this his Tucker Carlson's aha moment.
Oh, okay. Aha moment.
Yeah. We may have watched this one before, but I just want to bring it up for this episode.
Media, like that is a big part of the revelation that's changed my life is the media are part of the control apparatus. Like there's no, yeah, I know. Cause you're younger and smarter and you're like, yeah. But what if you're me and you spent your whole life in that world and to look around and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Not only are they part of the problem, but I spent most of my life being part of the problem, defending the Iraq war. Like I actually did that. Can you imagine if you did that?
Well, what do you think? What is one of your biggest regrets in your career?
Oh, defending the Iraq war.
That is it?
Well, I've had a million regrets, not being more skeptical, calling people names when I should have listened to what they were saying. Look, when someone makes a claim, there's only one question that's important at the very beginning, which is the claim true or not? So I say, you committed murder or you rigged the last election. Before you attack me as a crazy person for saying that, maybe you should explain whether you did it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for too long, I participated in the culture where I was like, anyone who thinks outside these pre-prescribed lanes is crazy, is a conspiracy theorist. And I just really regret that. I'm ashamed that I did that. And partly it was age, partly it was the world that I grew up in. So when you look at me and you're like, yeah, of course they're part of the means of control. I'm like, that's obvious to you because you're 28, but I just didn't see it at all. And I'm ashamed of that.
Isn't that what the media tries to do though?
It's their only purpose.
Right.
They're not here to inform you. Really? Even on the big things that really matter, like the economy and war and COVID and like things that really matter that will affect you. No, their job is not to inform you. They are working for the small group of people who actually run the world. They're their servants. They're their Praetorian Guard. And we should treat them with maximum contempt because they have earned it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some, I think it's probably clips like this that got him canned.
I call that his Jerry Maguire moment. Remember in the beginning of Jerry Maguire, he can't sleep at night. And he's like, I have an epiphany. We need to be better to our athletes. We need to put them first instead of our own personal interest and consider their benefit and how do we make their lives better instead of how do we make more money on them. And he went in there and he said, who's coming with me?
Exactly.
And that one person left with him because his executive producer, one person actually left with Tucker.
So what's so interesting, I think he's in his 50s now, right?
53 or something around there.
Okay, so he's in his 50s. What I really appreciate about that video clip, Matt, is the fact that whether he's honest or not, we'll never know. But he's willing to at least communicate the concession that he, in true naivete or ignorance, truly didn't know that he was part of the machine, which I can really appreciate. And some of the language he used here is that we should treat them with maximum contempt. I think he is really woken up. And so I think he's clearly had a moment, some come to Jesus moment where he's just like, I'm part of the problem now, which if we can extrapolate just out even one more level, I really appreciate because he acknowledged that the 28-year-old in the room already knows that the mainstream media is a propaganda arm of the government. What's so fascinating to me at this other abstraction is how many people in the world today still don't know this. That, to me, is insanity when we can be in this echo chamber, and maybe it's just because we seek out these clips, or maybe it's part of our matrix and we're suggested these clips, fair enough. But like, Tucker Carlson is a mainstream media talking head. So for him to say, I'm part of the problem, I'm part of the propaganda arm of the government, we're not here to inform you, we're here to tell you, man, that's why he got canned. Right?
I mean, there was something so honest and raw about that. To take accountability, to show regret, show remorse, to have that self-reflection of what he was doing in his past, and almost giving an indicator of what he wants to do moving forward. And people maybe didn't like that. Actually, on Sunday, 60 Minutes did a episode or did a segment on Ray Epps. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
So it was a 20-minute fluff piece of how Ray Epps' life was ruined by Tucker Carlson.
Oh, really?
That he was scared for his life.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh,
That he was not instigating anything, and that he was actually, there to support and be a part of the day, and that he was actually trying to stop people from going in.
Really?
And the interviewer was like, yeah, that makes sense. Right? Just a big jerk off session, right?
Absolutely.
And I bet you I'm just totally thinking out of my head. I bet you Tucker was like, fuck this guy. I'm going to do a clip. I'm going to do a segment on him on Monday. Rudolph Murdoch was like, after the whole Dominion thing and they got the lawsuits going with all these, they're like, no, you're not. And he's like, no, don't tell me what to do.
Do you think it's because that Tucker Carlson has kind of built up this callus of what the talking heads want him to talk about, and he's kind of going off script, and it's been this kind of progression over time? Or do you think it's just because of the timing of what's going on in the political arena, the social arena, that they just said enough is enough?
I think he's been towing the line with the January 6th coverage and footage.
He's been speaking pretty hard about that stuff.
He's very against that. He goes really hard against the vaccines. He's very anti what happened with the vaccines. He believes that there's a lot of injury out there, and vaccines are related to it. He's been very vocal about that on his show. He is extremely against the war in Ukraine because he sees all the propaganda and all the money and all the question marks. He's really big on the Nord Stream pipeline and how, allegedly the Biden administration blew that thing up, and it doesn't make sense that Russia would blow up their own pipeline.
We totally blew it up.
But these are things that mainstream media does not talk about, nor are they allowed to talk about. And he's been pushing hard on these very controversial issues.
Yeah, well, just like he said, he knows, and I love the fact that he readily admitted this, that, and you and I knew this for a long time, is that the mainstream media is not there to inform. They're there to propagandize. They're there to tell a message, a narrative, and most of it's about control and fear, right? Fear porn. Let's be honest. Like, one of the best ways to control anyone is two things: demoralize them or put them in a state of fear, right? When you have a demoralized population, you have a population that's in fear. They're easy to control. They're easy to maneuver. They're easy to manipulate, right? And I think Tucker Carlson's kind of getting tired of that. I since he's in his 50s, I have to imagine he's probably hit a point where, from a wealth perspective, a life perspective, his kids are out of school. I think he's an empty nester as well. And like, he has to have this like moment of consciousness, a moment of conscience, where it's just like,
his wake-up call moment.
yeah, do I really want to continue to spit in this evil and spit in this toxicity, or do I want to have a spine? Do I want to have some sort of legacy that I can truly be proud of? I think maybe this is the moment when he's in his mid-50s where he's trying to finally just being like, screw it, enough is enough. Let me just spit the truth the way it is.
Because I've heard that his contract is approximately $25 million a year.
Daggum, for a talking head. He literally just reads scripts off the teleprompter.
Correct.
It's amazing.
$25 million a year is what he gets paid. And he just re-upped, I think, 2 years ago.
Oof.
So he had maybe 2 or 3 years left in his contract
Daggum.
for them to fire him. And I also read that he found out 10 minutes prior to the official statement going out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it really was like
It was like, he's gone.
wow.
I don't know what led up to that day, but he found out on Monday.
I think it's going to be really interesting to dig into kind of how that happened, and who knows what really happened. But I think we're going to start seeing some of the layers of the onion peel off, and we're going to hear about some of the inner rumblings. I was browsing Twitter earlier today, and I already saw that there was a couple staffers who are saying that he made a toxic workplace or something like that. Is that just the hit, the usual hit pieces coming out? Is that standard fare?
I think so.
Par for the course?
He can't speak. He doesn't have a voice currently because he's probably legally obligated to stay quiet. And then they roll out the machine. You know, Tucker Carlson, bad.
Orange man bad.
Yes.
Tucker Carlson bad. They have to create a meme for that because the left can't meme. So let me ask you a question. If you were in his position, where would you go next?
So multiple options. One would be to go to another independent media group, maybe something like a Daily Wire, who I believe is going after him.
Do you think I think he's too much of a gravitational force to go to a Daily Wire. As legitimate as Daily Wire is, it definitely is a younger demographic because the hosts are a younger demographic. And so I almost feel like he would be a legacy anchor that would not be fit and form with kind of the culture there. You correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I don't know if that would be where he would go, but I think they are actively going after him.
If I were them, I would actively go after him.
Rumble is probably actively going after him as well to do an exclusive. I watched a clip with Patrick Bet-David, and they said they would totally bring in Tucker, and they're pretty big now, Valuetainment. He could also go the independent route, start his own podcast.
I can see him doing that.
Maybe he gets a deal with Spotify,
Maybe bigger than Joe Rogan.
or maybe similar. I don't know if he has Joe Rogan numbers.
You don't think so?
He does about 3 to 3.5 million live viewers.
Oh, Joe Rogan crushes that.
But that's live viewers. That's not including YouTube, post, people who watch it online, etc. Right? These are live TV viewers, which I think is a lot.
You know, for a guy in his 50s, it doesn't look like he's in his 50s.
He's done pretty good.
He's able to kind of garner a younger generation, I believe.
And he's the one guy that even people on the left watch. If there was any talking head that both sides watch, he would be probably the only one.
Really? You
Yeah.
don't think it's more like a Hannity?
No,
Hannity seems like he's a rhino. He seems like he's totally entrenched with the old school.
He's part of the machine.
The swamp.
Yeah. So I don't think him.
It's too bad because years ago Hannity seemed pretty solid.
A
a little bit more kind of edgy.
Kind of falls in line after a while.
But he has gotten fatter and I feel like as Sean Hannity has gotten fatter, he's gotten lazier and he's probably given in. Like, seriously, you kind of just get fat off the land, man. It works, right?
Also, Dan Bongino
Mm.
got kicked out of Fox too a week ago.
No.
Yeah.
What?
He's gone too.
What?
Yeah.
But he already had his his own thing, didn't he? Didn't he have his own
he
podcast?
was within he was doing well within Fox and Fox News, and then they got rid of him also.
But Dan Bongino was so abrasive, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's a little more aggressive,
Yeah.
right? But he's got a good following. Every day, I follow him on Twitter. Every day he goes, today is April 24th, and Joe Biden is the worst president in the world.
Is he?
Yeah, he does that every day. Every single day, whatever the date is, he says, today's whatever the date, Joe Biden is the worst president.
He didn't do that for Trump, did he?
No.
Oh,
That's
okay.
every single day he does that.
I should check it
Which
out.
is hilarious. That he just does that.
So is Tucker Carlson part? So we spent a lot of time in the last month talking about Andrew Tate and Andrew Tate going against the machine, going against the swamp, going against mainstream media, calling it as it is, talking about masculinity and guy shit. And we talked about that he's kind of transcended the cancel culture, right? So how would you categorize Tucker? Because he is mainstream media. He plays to a broad audience. Even the liberals watch him. So is this part of the cancel culture? Is he part of that, or is this something different?
What if, crazy scenario, what if Tucker Carlson ran for office?
Oh, get out of town. I didn't think you were going to go there.
It's possible.
You think so?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
We live in a clown world, man.
What if Tucker Carlson ran as Donald Trump's VP?
Get out of here.
Would that be crazy?
He's definitely a better speaker than Donald Trump.
What we always say is Donald Trump would be more successful if he just had a way to orate and tell his story better.
Man, he's so good at 5 to 7 word quips.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, he just starts repeating himself.
Correct. But what if you brought someone that is excellent in
Yes.
communication, that has a natural following, that is also very anti-establishment, kind of really similar views on a lot of different subjects? Donald Trump is always like, me versus the establishment. And Tucker Carlson knows where all those bodies lie. That would be, I think that'd be really interesting.
I would be really interested in this race. I'm generally not one that spends too much time focused on the presidential race because it's such a clown fiesta, and it's just negative mudslinging on both sides, and it's just everyone's digging up dirt on each other. But we're kind of officially moving into the timing of the next presidential race, right?
Correct. So we know now that the race will be Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Oh, okay.
Because Joe Biden has officially announced, and we all had an idea, but he officially announced that he will be running for president.
He did that when? Yesterday? Today?
Yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
And obviously Donald Trump is already announced. I don't think there is a number 2 behind Donald Trump. Anyone that says otherwise, I think is being ridiculous.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you for your honest opinion. How old is Biden again?
80 something.
80 something.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even cogent, man.
Yeah.
He's not even alive. Like, give me your honest opinion. Like, is he going to even, number one, survive the rest of this current presidency and then another 4 years of absolute suffering? Like, how is this going to happen?
Yes.
Is this weekends at Bernie's? Is this what it's going to be? It's just going to be carrying around a dead man all over the place? Seriously, though, come on. I just cannot believe we're at a point in our political arena in which a dead man walking, a zombie, is literally the commander-in-chief of this country. Or at least, supposedly.
Not only
Come on, bro.
will he run, he will probably win.
Really? You
I
think
mean-
so? You think there's that many people out there that are truly, like, do not see the mental faculties of this individual and that he is not fit to even put a string of... I mean, Donald Trump speaks in 5 to 7 words. Biden can't put together 7 words cogently,
Correct.
cohesively.
But he won the last election.
Whatever that means.
Didn't campaign.
He
Didn't
did-
leave his house.
He didn't campaign. He
campaign.
hung out at in his basement.
And somehow he got the most votes of any president in the history of this country.
Now, we know for a fact
Mm-hmm.
that he won legitimately.
Of course.
Of course.
81 million votes.
81 million.
Correct.
It'd be a better statistic if it was like 400 million out of a population of 320. Biden got 400 million votes. Really? How's that possible? Jack on.
There is a risk of him winning again. And I say risk because I think there are a lot of people that watch us going, no fucking way. There's no way that we let this guy win. The reality is that he has an extremely high chance to win again.
I just
Wrong.
talk me through this. I just don't see how this is possible. How is it possible?
The Democrats and the liberals are just better at this game. It's a game, right? Politics is a game.
Fair enough.
They're
better
better
at the game.
They're better at the game. They understand the technology better. They've already aligned themselves with all the major technology companies. They've already convinced Gen Z that Biden is better.
That's crazy.
They've already convinced them that Orange Man, bad. They were actually born and raised hearing Orange Man, bad.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a part of them now.
Oof.
And now they're importing all these people. All these people that are imported will also get the ability to vote. We know
Yes,
that they're going to
for
let
sure.
that happen.
Absolutely.
They've mastered the art of mail-in ballots. I think a huge mistake from the Republican side was fighting it. They should have embraced it too when the opportunity was there. Instead of, no, we're all going to wait for election day and go in together. I think that was stupid. Really bad idea. Because reality is, as much as people care, shit happens. You're like, oh, it's a little hot today.
Yeah, it's a little rainy
You
today.
know, or the traffic's a little bit long. Like, I swear I was going to go. And that happens, if that just happens to 10% of people, like, you lose.
Daggone, man.
They're just better at the game.
They are better at the game.
Yeah.
They're good at the ground and pound. They understand that, especially in the urban sprawls. In the urban sprawls, I think you even talked about this to me before. In the urban sprawls, they can hit like 100 houses within an hour. But out in the conservative countryside or the suburbia, right? An hour you'll get to like 20 houses, right? And so the ability to ground and pound and get people going out to vote, certainly the cities and the smashed together people who are living in these tight cities, it's easier to get them corralled up for sure.
Because right now you see a lot of all the negative Biden family business dealing news coming out right now.
Man, I saw something like 17 or 19 of his family members or some shit like
It's
that
crazy. And actually,
are all wrapped in it.
I know a guy,
It's
and
a
this
family
is
game.
I know a guy that I worked very closely with during 2020. I won't give his name out because, like, if you search him, I don't know if he wants his name out there. He went to business with one of the Biden brothers.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he actually did. He went into business with one of the Biden brothers, and eventually, basically what they did was, hey, we're going to get you this much money in federal funding from the government because, my brother is who he is.
Right.
And therefore, like, we want to be a partner. If they call and they say, if they make that pitch, it's like, fuck, I'm a businessman. That's a really good deal.
Oh, yeah. Government contract, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to get it. And then, because we made this promise to you, now that I'm your partner, I want you to give me X amount of dollars as a loan.
Oh.
What do you say? You say no to that? You're about to get a huge federal contract.
Yeah,
Here.
exactly.
But what happens when the contract doesn't come? Screwed. Because now he's the guy who loaned out and used the existing money in a non-acceptable way.
Yes.
Had to go through bankruptcy, had to go through federal court, is still in the systems.
Oh, dang.
And now he is off the radar. So during 2020, remember when Tony Bobolinsky came out during the election talking about his dealings with Hunter Biden, actually the news outlets were calling him. Like, hey, why don't you come out? Fox News and Tucker actually started calling him. Why don't you come out and tell your story? He's like, bro, I'm not fucking with these people. No.
He doesn't want to get Clintoned?
He does not want to disappear. So he's like, nope, like, lose my number. Don't fucking call me ever again. It never happened. But all public record.
But that's all part of the game that you were talking about that the Democrats are so good at playing. Is it's all this kind of pay for play. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And you're a businessman, you're an entrepreneur, so you understand the facets of that. But you're not in the world of policy making. You're not in the world of moving human people around, capital around. You're not in the world of legislation. You're not in that toxicity of politics. So it's a different level. But so much money is mixed up in these relationships. So it makes sense that all of them are touching or dealing with dirty money at some level, or let's just say some impropriety of business, right?
So you have all of this Biden family business dealing news coming out right now. And I almost feel like they're trying to get it out now.
So when it doesn't matter
exactly
as much.
So that when it comes to election time and they're like, hey, remember this? Like, oh, yeah, it's old news.
Yeah, but
nobody cares anymore.
But wouldn't Trump be the type of guy that would be like, but remember,
Yeah.
you guys, all of your family members are a bunch of crooks type of deal.
And they'd be like, yeah, but no one really got convicted. Everyone got a slap on the wrist. Not that big of a deal. They're 10 steps ahead. They're already getting all of it out now.
So let me ask you an odd question. You know that in politics, these people go into politics, they become lifelong politicians. They don't actually provide any value to humanity, but they end up always becoming millionaires on the other side, like exorbitantly rich, like dirty rich. So here's the question. Knowing what you know now and what I know now, and if the world has their eyes open, they realize, why are politicians who are supposed to serve the public making so much more money than everybody else? Okay. With what you know now about politics, would you ever enter in politics if you could do life over again because you know that there's so much money? There's so much money in it. You probably have to lose your soul for, a couple times, but other than that.
So I've had like local, I think let's say Korean Americans or Koreans within the community ask me, they've approached me many times, would you like to run for like local government or office?
Really?
And we would support you. Yeah.
Really?
I've been asked so many times because I speak Korean really well. I speak English really well. I'm kind of conservative, but I'm a businessman. I speak well. I understand. I handle large crowds really well.
Which, by the way, for everyone out there, one of the best moments that I had with Matt years ago was when you did the ribbon cutting thing with the local government here. I don't remember all the details, but just tell us the story about that, because I felt so proud of you, man. Like remember all that?
Oh yeah, when we did at the business here.
Yeah, the
and
business.
we brought all the Peachtree Corners and Norcross people in.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
It's not okay. So to Matt, it's not a big deal, but to me, it was a big deal because it showed me that Matt was more than just an entrepreneur in all the rights that Matt has earned, but he was also a man of the people. Like I felt kind of humbled because I was like, man, I'm standing next to like a local celebrity who's rubbing shoulders with town council and mayors and shit like that. Like I understand even more now that you've been. People have brought up the idea of you running for office.
Yeah, people have brought up the idea that they would support me or that they would fund it. And I always thought that was just the dumbest thing ever, right? Like, no interest, because I don't want to be a corrupt politician. And the people that approach you saying they will fund you is because they want you to get some sort of power and then give them the deals.
Yeah, of course.
course.
They want a little bit of kickback.
Yeah,
They want a little bit of back
they want to
scratching.
know where the area to invest is, or maybe if they have a business and maybe they can help with some zoning laws. So they want me to be in local government.
But so let's just pause. Is that wrong? Is it wrong to give money for the purpose of creating privilege or benefit that, let's just say, maybe more benefits you than others, but you're putting support where you're free to do so? I mean, it's your money. You can put support where you want to in business. Is politics any different?
I think that there is a huge difference between local and federal government. I think in local government, things are done a little bit differently, right? Because you work within a network of people you know, you're affecting the people around you. And if you are too shady, everyone can see it.
And they can truly egg you in your face.
Correct. And there is repercussion. So it doesn't bother me as much, but you can't go so far out on line, especially in some of these smaller areas. Maybe in the city, it's a lot more corrupt. But out in the suburbs, there's a little bit less corruption because you can't really hide it.
Yeah,
If you all of a sudden become a gajillionaire from local government, like it's obvious.
Yeah, you can't be rolling around in your Lambo showing up at the town
Correct.
council.
But in federal government, I think there should be very strict laws because
yeah.
they operate in the shadows.
And they're so far dispersed away from the actual people that they serve, right? There's such a distance between that they can obfuscate what they're actually doing.
I think if you go for one of the top 50 or 100 highest ranking positions within government, I think you should be independently wealthy to do it.
Do you think so?
So that you don't rely on the money.
I understand where you're going.
Like,
with
I don't like DeSantis because he doesn't have his own money.
that.
That bothers me a
I
lot.
remember we talked about that
Yes,
before. Yeah.
because he can be bought.
Yes,
That bothers me a lot.
I
I
understand.
think if I were ever to run for federal office, I would want to be in a place where I don't need money because I don't need the lobby anymore.
That's right.
You know, for example, if this podcast ever hit 1 million subscribers,
Smash the like button.
yeah, leave a comment. If we ever hit 1 million subscribers where this podcast could generate enough revenue where I don't need another business, I think I would run for office.
Really?
I think I would.
It's 8:40 on Tuesday, April 25th. I just heard something that completely blew my mind, Will. I can't believe I just heard this. I heard a Korean American in Duluth, Georgia, talking about potentially running. I'd support you totally.
I mean, not,
Okay,
not
we
for
have-
president.
Well, no,
You
no,
know?
no.
But like a position that mattered.
Oh, for sure. Guys, everybody out there, everybody listening, retweet this, share it, smash the like button, comment on it. We need to get this podcast, the Matt Kim podcast, to 100 million subscribers. 100 million would be great, but 1 million subscribers so that you can go change the local world.
I mean, I think at that point, I would be able to speak honestly, keep the audience that we have, be able to have a support base because the 1 million subscribers means you have support.
Yeah.
And I would not be beholden to lobbyists or people out there who have other interests in mind, where I can actually be beholden to the people that supported me to get there, which I think would be much more
Can I be your first diversity hire? Like, what's Peter's job again? Oh, he's Parks and Rec, right? He's a diversity hire. He doesn't actually know anything about it.
I think that's like most of those hires.
For sure. What would be your platform? What would be the kind of the focus of your kind of your thesis for governing?
I think it'd just be transparency. I think, and that's a hard one, right? It's almost like MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh man, she said some crazy shit this week too.
She literally went into office because she's independently wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
She's extremely wealthy. She went into office because she wanted to know what the fuck was going on over there.
Yeah, I remember hearing that in the very beginning. Yeah,
And she's going in, and all she does is ruffle everyone's feathers. Yeah. Everyone hates her. She gets kicked off of every committee.
Yeah, I
no
think
one wants her
she
around.
was saying something in a meeting the other day. She was talking about like everybody knows that you like slept with a Chinese spy, and everybody here knows it, and they're like trying to cancel it out of the record.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that's tough when they're saying cancel that out of the record.
Yeah, and she went down the QAnon route, so she's a little bit out there. However, she is one of those independently wealthy, don't give a fuck, don't need the government money, don't need the lobbyists, don't need special interest, doesn't need any of it.
I like that.
And she's just there to just turn that thing upside down.
Yeah, she's there to break shit up.
And I love that about her.
I do too.
I mean, again, she's like, I believe the lizard people theory. Like she was out there, right? Right?
Is that really what she thinks? I didn't know that she was that far out there. I thought she was just like hardcore.
She was out there for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
She believed almost all of it. But then she realized it's not true, and then she brought it back in, whatever else. I believe.
So isn't QAnon, isn't that a CIA psyop or something like that? Isn't that some sort of
That's like another episode for another day.
Isn't that some sort of controlled opposition? Everybody out there, everybody in our Discord, let us know what your thoughts are on QAnon. From what I understood, and I could be obviously wrong, I thought it was this counterintelligence, controlled opposition, CIA like psyop, in which where they can have all these ultra maybe radical conservatives focusing on this narrative away from the bigger issues. Is what I was thinking.
Added to Antifa. And added to Proud Boys, added to the list of
BLM.
every single group
Yeah.
that's out there that just all of a sudden came out of nowhere.
They're probably all CIA ops for sure.
Probably. I'm running for office. I don't know if I can agree with that anymore.
He's part of the system now, guys. He's part of the problem now.
I think that a Trump Tucker Carlson ticket would be extremely interesting. I think that's something I would like to see.
So Trump recently, and I haven't kept on all the digs, but I think from what I've heard and what I've seen, it seems like Trump's kind of like smashing on DeSantis these days, which seems somewhat counterproductive to me.
I think he is a alpha boss type. He does not like the idea that anyone would dare challenge him, which I can see why the liberals don't like. It's almost a little much.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So I get why some people don't like that. But in this day and age where we are probably actively at war with what it seems like multiple countries, you kind of need that type of guy right now. You know, so that's the give and take of it, right? We are actively at war with Russia.
It's crazy that we can say this without like hesitation.
Yeah, we are actively at war with Russia.
People don't realize this, and it's because of the way our military is set up. It's a volunteerism military. There's no conscription. There's none of that. There's no grabbing kids as they're 18 and forcing them into military for 2.5 years like Korea, and so the public is so distanced from what's actually happening, and the fact that you and I can literally say to each other, we've been actively at war for more than half our lives. Actually,
Correct.
Probably if we add it all up, like 40 years, we've probably been at war as America more of our life than not.
Correct.
For sure. Which is crazy that we're at war all the bloody time.
I mean, we're at the verge of World War III.
You think so?
Yes.
What makes you think that way?
I mean, you got Russia, China, Brazil, South Africa. Who else is it? Mexico's thinking about joining them, right? They are all starting to get together. Their side is getting actually stronger. If you go through the numbers, they have more people, they have more military, they have more guns, they have more weapons, they have more military, they have more money, all of it. And we are weak.
Why do you say that?
Because we're losing. We lose everywhere.
Are we losing? Oh, the wars, you mean? Oh yeah, we're like the king of dumping trillions of dollars into Afghanistan for 20 years and getting nothing out of it.
They say for every Russian soldier that gets killed, 7 Ukrainian soldiers die.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So Ukraine.
It's so lopsided. And we are actively in war, meaning we are getting sloshed.
Well, we're getting sloshed, but the military-industrial complex is making so much money right now.
Correct.
Those
Correct.
dead bodies are piling up.
But-
so
And that's
Ukraine,
something that Tucker was really concerned about. Like, why are we war at Russia? Like, we're at the verge of a nuclear war.
is it really 7-1?
7-1.
Shit, dude.
It is not even close right now.
That's like the new Afghanistan, man. We're just
Yeah.
killing people over it. Oh, jeez.
And the U.S. is running low on ammunition. Did you see that U.S. is actually borrowing ammunition from other countries?
I heard a political pundit talking about the fact that we are literally depleting all of our military arms reserves,
We've given
and
it
we're
all to-
basically naked.
Yes.
Is what he was saying.
We are actively borrowing ammunition from other countries.
How is that possible? We make more.
And the other countries don't want to give it or sell it because they don't want to contribute to the war, because they don't want to be involved in what could potentially be U.S. versus Russia and China. If you're Korea,
What are we?
you don't want to be involved in that.
What's
You don't want to take a side
Korea's just a thumbnail.
because they actually borrowed. U.S. borrowed. So Korea said, we're going to lend you ammunition.
Really?
Yes, because we can't give it to you or we can't sell it to you.
Wait, how do you lend ammunition? Once it's spent, it's spent.
Dude, they just don't want the implication that we were contributing to this war against people that can crush us. They're more scared of that side than this side,
Daggone.
which is scary.
So we're this sleeping giant that's actually naked.
Yes.
So we don't have a club, we don't have guns, we don't have ammunition. We're just blowing it all over on this hookers and slot machines over in Ukraine.
And a crazy thought is, what if we were to go into active war and we had to enlist and do a military conscription and we go after all...
The draft, baby.
Correct. Well, because it's still allowed. In times of war, they can actually do it if they needed to.
Of course. Yeah, executive order.
Exactly. And all the young fighting age men were like, no, we're women now.
Bro, that took a left turn so fast, bro. I was like, what the fuck did he just say in my brain? I was like, holy shit. Bro.
Yeah.
Well played.
People leave.
Well played.
You're like, oh, I can't go to war. I have a tattoo, or oh, I have a condition in my leg, or I have a limp. You
I'm
know?
a Yoja.
People say all this stuff to get out of being drafted. Right? People have been doing it for years,
You just
for
threw
centuries.
me for a loop, bro.
I'm a woman.
Emotional, damn it.
Can't go to war.
Oh man, it's that's one of those that's where the argument of the radical left really falls apart.
Yeah.
Like it's examples like this where it's just like, bro, like we're on to you. Clearly your philosophy, your ideology doesn't span the entirety of humanity. So it's not really working out here. But yeah, man, like can you imagine how many soy boys would be like, I'm a girl now. I can't go to war.
Yeah. And you don't have to do anything. All you got to do is identify as now.
As sick as it sounds, like there's a lot that has to come to pass, which is all bad. So I don't want any of this to actually to happen. But if it comes to pass where we're getting into war, we're actively engaged, they go back to the draft, and to see this massive outpouring of men who are just like, yeah, I'm a woman now. Like I would actually kind of enjoy seeing that, because that would show the insanity and the humiliation of where we are in this cycle of the world
Well,
right now.
we're already seeing it because military men and signing up for the military is way down.
Oh, of course. Of course.
No one wants to sign up for the military and fight in Joe Biden's war. Just nobody does.
Well,
So
why?
everyone's leaving, retiring. We had one guy that watches our thing saying that for political choices, that he's actually leaving the army.
Oh, for political reasons?
Correct. He's like,
because
they just don't want to be involved in this.
He's not anti-war?
Anti-war, anti-these wars.
Makes sense.
You know?
I think most people are anti-war. Like, I don't think I've ever met anyone that wakes up and is like, let's go to war. Let's kill people.
I think there was a culture of men who, if your family and your father was in a war and your grandfather was in a war, then you feel like your duty is to go and fight in a war.
Part of your kind of generational duty.
Correct. And there was that masculine type of guy who said, if there's an issue, I am willing to die for my country. And those guys, they're mostly Trump supporters. There is a huge amount of young men, military-age men, that said, I would fight in Donald Trump's war.
Really?
I think so.
Well,
Versus, I would not fight and die in Joe Biden's war.
What happened to this whole patriotism thing? It seems like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like patriotism or belief in your country or love of your country is not only a far right radical ideal these days, but it's fallen out of vogue. Like it almost seems like for you to say, I love America or I love I love our country. It's like a bad thing now. When did that happen? How did that happen? How do we get to the point where you can literally be living off all the privileges of your country, but yet at the same time can spit in the face of everything that you have? It's crazy.
So we had a slow degradation of patriotism in the country. I mean, we peaked at 9/11.
Oh, for sure. 9/11.
Right? 9/11, everyone was a
I think it was
patriot.
like over 90% of people were just like, yeah, let's go get them.
And then life got good. People got complacent. They didn't want to be involved. And then Donald Trump came up with, I think, maybe the greatest political slogan ever, which is "Make America Great
MAGA,
Again."
for sure.
And that's fucking fantastic slogan. Like whoever thought of that, I don't think he thought of that. And if he did, like maybe he's smarter than we thought,
Maybe.
right? Because that is a fantastic slogan.
Maybe
right?
he's an idiot savant.
Maybe, but make America great again.
Mm.
That's such a great slogan especially for a presidential campaign. And when he did that, and he was like, America first, America first, America first. All of a sudden, all the left's like, no, not America first, not America first, not America first. And all of a sudden, they've ingrained it into their own people. I don't even know if that was intentional.
So
they were just fighting one side.
So it wasn't a cultural degradation, but it was more of a patriotism is aligned with the orange man bad.
Correct.
So therefore, patriotism bad.
And now it got so bad.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm sure
get
there's
it.
got to be people within the military going, fuck, maybe that was not a good idea. When they're, people that are going to the draft or going into the military is down, 30%. They must be like, fuck.
Well,
we kind of messed that up.
did you see that mashup where they showed like a Russian commercial of military and then they showed the American version
Yes.
of military commercial? It's like when your military commercial is focused more on social justice and making sure that there's fairness and equality on the battlefield, like when the fuck have we ever cared about equality on the battlefield? Like, bro, being superior in every way is the advantage you want in the battlefield. You don't want things to be equal. Yeah. You don't want to. Hey, I can't fight you guys. You don't have enough gay people. Like, bro, what the fuck? Where are we, bro?
It is
Twilight Zone.
It's concerning.
Mm.
At minimum, it's concerning. And I think it's so weird that every time Joe Biden talks about his political opponents, he says, MAGA Republicans are blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he really goes hard on that.
And he loves to say MAGA Republicans. Like, wanting to make America great again is a bad thing.
Do you think
It's such a weird, like, he could have picked a different term, but
Well,
instead of coining that and, like, leaning into it more, like, why make that a bad thing?
Well, Joe Biden is not a sophisticated individual anymore. He might have been sophisticated in his younger years.
But it's not him that made that decision.
Well,
lean in
everything has to. If there's anything that the Orange Man does, we cannot participate in what Orange Man does. And if Orange Man says that he likes Fiji water, then the left has to be anti-Fiji. They have to go cancel this because you know what? This flower right here is racist.
I mean, he could have easily said the Trump Republicans. It would have very similar impact, and you still know kind of who you're talking about. But to demonize the word and the ideology that you want to make this country great or you want to make this country better, that's such a weird place to hang your hat.
So here's a question: do you think Biden is more divisive
Oh yeah, for
or
sure.
Obama? Who do you
I
think
didn't
is?
know that was a question.
Yeah, who do you think is gonna? Who do you think has or is dividing the country more? Because Obama was really, really good at making sure that the country was more divided than ever, especially across class and race lines. Like he was the king of making sure that the race issue and the class issue always came up.
But he was better at running the country.
He played better chess for sure.
The country ran a little bit smoother.
You think so?
Oh,
or
for
is,
sure.
or is it because Oh man, that's hard for me to hear, man.
Because I don't agree with the policies that he's had. I don't think he did as much for African Americans as he promised.
He promised
would.
so much, Matt. You don't remember all the promises? Don't remember the Vine meme of the lady who's going, Obama's gonna pay for my education. He's gonna pay for my college degree, and he's gonna pay for my loans and my car loan, bitch. Like Obama's my jam. Like he promised not just to the black community, he promised to everybody everything, man.
Correct.
And delivered on none of it.
But he didn't socially break down the entire country and leave it in ruins. He maybe didn't do what he promised, but I don't think any president does everything he promises anyway. He was divisive, but people weren't physically fighting.
We did have a couple of hot summers under Obama where there was some infighting, and Black Lives Matter BLM started during his terms, if I remember correctly. But if I were to categorize it, I'd say Obama kind of kept the country on autopilot, where it seems like Biden is actively destroying.
That's exactly it. If Biden did nothing and just sat there, he'll be better.
If he was an actual like dead guy,
exactly. If he did what we expected him to do, which would be just show up and do nothing, I think the country would be a much better place. But he comes out and just lies to us constantly and instills all these weird policies that just don't make any sense to anyone and supports these weird social movements that just don't make any sense.
I swear, I have to believe that he wakes up, because, he wakes up, he gets his itinerary for the day. Like, you're going to go to this, you're going to talk to this, you're going to shake hands.
It's a really short list.
I'm sure it's not only is it a short list, but I have to believe that he doesn't read any of the subtext, any of the context. He's just like, oh, that's what I need to say? Okay, that's what I'm going to say. That's why he goes up and speaks, and you're just like, bro, you don't even communicate like someone who knows what you're talking about. Like, it's like you didn't do any research on this topic at all. So you're just literally reading the bullet points, and the bullet points are not consistent with the context that we're in right now. So it's not only super awkward, but the words are amazingly clippable because he makes shit up and he says weird things like 3 words or 2 words. Make them. I don't know what he said. So what did he say?
There was a thought I had once before, and it's along the lines of, what is the role of the president?
Mm-hmm.
What are they actually there for? There is a group of thought that believes that the president should actually not rule, but lead the country to instill policy changes that actually matter to change and alter the direction of the country. That's one school of thought. The other school of thought is that the role of the president is to just be a figurehead, to represent the country, not to lead the country. And then it comes down to, well, which side are you on? Because if you believe that the role of the president is to represent the country, I can see why you don't like Trump. It makes sense.
Makes sense.
Maybe that's why you like Biden, someone that does represent the establishment. Someone
He
that
represents the establishment, not the country.
Correct. But
he's an embarrassment on the international stage, man. Like when he goes internationally, like he is clearly the least sophisticated, the least cogent, the least awake, the least aware, the least everything when he's sitting there. And I have to believe that the sharp-minded, sharp-tongued, legislators, ambassadors, and, diplomats on the other side of the table are just laughing at him inside. They have to be like, this is a fucking joke.
So that's what we see, and that's what we think.
Fair enough.
The media
But
majority liberal or majority conservative?
Come on, man. Like, even on the small clips of him communicating, does it?
But in the rest of the world, they don't see those clips.
Of course they don't.
Because majority of media, domestic and international, leans extremely liberal right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So the news they get about the United States and the presidents lean heavily liberal throughout the world. So the rest of the world, they get all the orange man bad. And if that's the only news you get about America and you don't live in America, you're going to think, oh shit, orange man bad.
That's true. Yeah.
So perception is maybe more important than reality.
Well, it always is.
And the perception to the world is that orange man bad. He's unpredictable. He's unhinged. You don't know what is going to happen if you have him. And you have old, reliable Joe, who's been there from ever.
Yes.
You know, you can trust this guy, right? And that's what is put out into the world.
You sound like an apologist for Mr. Old
Fuck
Sleepy
that
Joe.
guy.
Fuck that guy.
But that's what people are told. And if you don't live here, you don't have this type of discourse because all you do is consume and maybe see a clip, and that's what you think about America.
That's the value of us talking about what we see in the innards, in the inside of America, right? Because we have an international audience, and some of the people might be like, "I've never seen that. I can't believe you guys are seeing that." So I think it's good that we're talking about this type of stuff because it can bring a fresh perspective to those people who don't see what we see for sure.
Because we're eventually going to go through primary season, right? And primary season is where you figure out who's going to be the official nominee for the Democratic Party and who the official nominee for the Republican Party will be. We're going to go through that. Right now, it looks like it's Trump versus DeSantis versus a few other people that really don't matter. Those people are only running because they want a position within the federal government and within the White House once whoever gets elected gets elected. That's what it is, right? People who have 1% or 2% of primary vote don't actually think they're going to win, right? What's the Indian guy's name that's been everywhere these days?
Oh, is it like Vivek or something?
Vivek.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually think he's going to win. He just wants to be like the technology secretary, you know, if Trump wins.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. So the other people who are running for president, they most likely mentally assent to the fact that they're not going to win.
They know 100%.
But by being active in the game, they could be pulled by the winner, like a Trump, and say, "Hey, and let's put you as Secretary of Defense or Treasurer or whatever."
Yeah, it's a game. I'm Vivek. I have 1% of the vote. But do you know what? I'm going to bow out and I'm going to throw my support to Trump. And Trump says, "Thank you. Here is a cabinet seat for you as your reward."
I see.
That's the politics game, right?
I see. I feel like I knew this, but it's nice to have someone communicate this game to me.
And then you have the Biden camp. And I think Robert Kennedy Jr. actually announced for presidency.
I heard he threw his hat in the ring.
And he is anti-vaxxer. He is like he's like a very different liberal Democrat.
Is he running as an independent?
As a Democrat.
Oh, really?
So he's going to challenge Joe Biden.
So he's like a Kennedy Democrat.
Correct.
Oh.
Except I believe they said they're not going to have a Democratic primary debate.
I felt like I read that. Is that true, Will? Is that true, Matt?
I believe so.
They're not going to do
the
debates?
idea is that they're just going to roll Joe Biden through.
They're just going to roll him on a wheelchair, bro,
Yeah.
all the way to the end.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do any debates.
Right now, that's where it stands.
Okay. Do you feel like this is a slippery slope?
Oh, it's extremely slippery. It's a horrible idea. I think you should be required to debate.
Oh, yeah.
I think you should be required
That's
to
where I
debate
was
in
going.
long form, especially with this new age of media economy. Democrat Republicans are now holding primary debates.
So it's the DNC. So
DNC currently has no Democratic primary debates scheduled. Yeah.
So
They don't want to risk putting Joe Biden out there and go through the fodder with his own party.
Oh, I mean, not only will he get destroyed on stage, but it'll actually be, for the ones who are paying attention, it'll be a detriment on his campaign.
Well, sometimes he does really good. If you if you give him enough drugs, then sometimes he does really well.
And
You
then
know, and he does well.
right? Sometimes, I know what you're talking. Sometimes he gets really angry.
Yeah.
It's like the meds kick in, and he's
meds
just like,
kick
"Oh,
in.
I'm like
Yeah.
hyped up on this shit right now. I got adrenaline running through my veins."
But then CNN and Don Lemon, who's no longer there, RIP.
Oh, that's right. He got canned this week too.
Which I think we saw the writing on the wall. On this
He was
guy.
cancer.
Yeah.
He was absolute cancer. I mean, he has this. He's an ideologue, and I know he has people talking in his ear all the time, telling him what to say too. But he is cancer, man. He was just negative all over the place, and irrationally so.
He'll probably do his own podcast.
We should probably listen in one time to see
Yeah.
what toxicity he's
Sure.
spewing.
Yeah,
just to see how far he goes off.
I'm a
Because-
masochist. I like it.
Well, now he's just like Tucker Carlson. He has been loosed upon the world. So now Don Lemon can do just similar to Tucker Carlson. He can join an independent. He can start his own. He can go into a big syndicate or another big industry. But if he goes solo, like he will be unchained to speak his true mind. And wouldn't it be curious to find that his narrative is actually more conservative now that he doesn't have the talking earpiece telling him what to say all the time? That would be intriguing to me.
I think his viewership will be like nothing. I think nobody gives a fuck about that guy.
I don't think. Well, I think I agree with you too. I think he's a nobody.
Yeah, like open a restaurant, open a bar or something.
That reminds me of what was that? Brian Skelter.
Uh-huh.
He disappeared. No one cared.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cares.
He was like, and he's like a balding early 30s. Did you know that? He
Tucker-
looks like he's a late 40s-year-old man. This Brian Skelter guy.
And they used to always call him Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. Oh, he was so unsophisticated. So we got the primaries coming up. So who do you think Trump's gonna run?
primaries.
Oh, not the primaries.
Well, primaries, no debates.
No debates. That's crazy, man. That's. I feel like that is a deeply, if we abstract another level up, like that's deeply disturbing
I think
because
in
it
this
moves into more of a dictatorship type of thing.
in this era of long form content where everyone does podcasts, I think the presidential candidates at minimum should be required to sit down and talk long form for 3 hours.
Yeah, like fireside chat.
Correct. 1-on-1, 2-3 hours, talk about different issues, different ideas, and really get an idea of what they think, how they feel about issues. And you
Agreed.
get a good feel of what they're like, not with these moderators asking these stupid, dumb questions for 5
Softballs.
seconds. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for 30 seconds, here you go.
Exactly.
None of that. I think that should be the new form because we adapt to everything else in life. We adapt to all different types of technology. Like, why can't we force them to do that?
I think that's a great idea. I think every single presidential candidate should do long form so that we can understand their mind. Like, who are you really? Without the preconceived, the pre-programmed, talking points. Like, what do you think about X? Like, not even politically inclined. Like, do you care about Y? What do you think about Z? And it has nothing to do with politics. Just like show us a little bit more about your personality and the latitude and who you are and what you might even care about beyond just the ticket, right?
Yeah. Show us how your brain works. How do
Exactly.
you problem solve?
Right.
What kind of logic?
I want to hear. I want to hear Joe Biden talk about parabolas and hypotenuses and shit like that.
I just want to hear him talk for more than 5 minutes without
He's like squeezing out a golden nugget, man.
Trump will. I mean, DeSantis is number 2. Is over there. I don't think he has a chance. I mean, I've mentioned this before. I just
don't think so
he does.
either. I think
And he hasn't
DeSantis.
officially announced either.
I think DeSantis. I thought he officially announced it.
No.
I thought Hannity asked him if he was going to be running. Maybe that's breaking news. We'll check it out. But I think DeSantis should stay in Florida. I feel like he's doing a really good job there. He's kind of like the local yokel. I think that's where he should stay. And if he stays and Florida continues to get better, as from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, like if he can make Florida a better place to live, man, I might even actually think about moving down there. Miami's not that bad.
Miami is probably my favorite city in the country outside of where we live now.
It's too bad that Miami is also the number 1 STD city in the world. In the world, but not that you and I have to worry about that because
No, that's from March. If he announced, it would have been like within the last day or so.
Yeah. Okay.
And if it's not popping,
If
up,
it's
then
not
yeah.
popping up, then he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to.
Who do you think Trump's running mate will be then?
So
Who's viable? Like, what's
If
that?
DeSantis
was it
was-
Tabbert, Kelsey? What's her Tulsi? Whatever.
Tulsi Gabbard, I
don't
think
know
that
her
would be interesting because she used to be a Democrat
Yeah.
and she left the Democratic
I
Party.
really like her Rogue.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah,
white
yeah.
hair
Yeah, yeah.
reminds me of Rogue from the Marvel universe.
And she is former military, former Congress. So I
Can
think,
I say this? I think she's kind of cute too. Actually.
Yeah. And she's
Kinda got
well
that-
spoken. She thinks out the box. I think she'd be interesting to bring in that gap. I think if DeSantis was a really thinking man, he would lobby for maybe vice president role. because a DeSantis Trump ticket would be an interesting ticket, would be a very strong ticket.
I think there's too many alpha in that equation. I think they would rub each other
But
wrong.
DeSantis
there.
is a military guy. He understands chain of command.
That's true. That's true.
So if he were to do 4 years as Trump's VP, it would almost guarantee 8 years of presidency for him.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right? I think because of his trajectory
Daggone.
to go from a VP, he could easily become the next president. So he would, I mean, it would be the easiest route for him to do 8 years. So if he thought long-term about legacy, I think it would be an interesting proposition.
I can't think of any other Republican out there that is really kind of honing in on this presidential run or an opportunity to do the presidential run. We have a like both on the Democratic side and the Republican side, in my opinion, I think we have some just weak ass options all
Correct.
around. Don't you think?
I mean, it's picking the worst.
Oh, yeah.
The least worst is what the game is, right? Who's going to do the least amount of damage is currently where it's at.
Choosing the least worst option
Yeah.
is what we have. Like that's a terrible place to be, bro.
But that's what we have, so we got to do the best. I mean, I do know that I cannot do another 4 years of Joe Biden. I just can't.
But here, let's do a thought experiment. The reality is that, this is my opinion, the reality is he's not doing anything anyway, because according to statistics, he's spent actually more time on vacation than actually doing work, from what I've read. But
I mean, work from home now.
yeah, I guess so, whatever that means. I mean, he's just hanging out. Obama's really probably running the show in the background. But if Biden is not mentally capable of doing the work, are you telling me that there's a real chance that we're going to end up with like a Kamala Harris?
I don't think they just need to keep him alive and put him into the public things every once in a while, right? And pop him up Bernie, Weekend at Bernie style.
I feel like, Matt, we are going to be living through the greatest clown show sitcom ever seen on the political stage if Biden gets elected. I mean, because I don't think you'll be able to deceive anyone that he's coked up and drugged up for this one thing. He's, doing his, Super Saiyan, like powering up thing. Like, I don't think they'll be able to contain the reality that he clearly is just a puppet.
So your first 4 years of presidency, you do just enough to get reelected. Your second term of presidency is really when you instill your real policies, which is the scary part.
So are we going to see more red backgrounds and Stalin, Hitler-esque type of speeches?
Whatever
is that what we're going
you
to see?
about the Biden administration now that you don't like, it's going to be 10x if he wins.
And we're going on steroids the next term?
It is. That's how all presidents work, right? The first term, you do just enough, and you say you want to do all this, but you don't do all of it right away, because if you do too much, people are going to say you're polarizing or you're too extreme, you're making too many changes, and then you don't get reelected. So you do just enough to get elected.
To be like a safe bet.
Correct.
I get it.
And then your second term is what all hell breaks loose, because you don't have to worry about your reelection anymore.
That's right.
You're not doing anything.
You can kind of burn the ships.
You're done.
Yeah.
Right. After your second term president, you're pretty much done with your life. You build a library, a monument to yourself, whatever, you build a huge statue, you call yourself King Obama, like you do all these things, right?
And then you have books about you, like becoming Michael, Michelle, becoming, like, come on guys, becoming Michelle. Could you be even more obvious, Big Mike? I saw a recent photo that literally had me laughing out loud, Matt. It was Michelle Obama on a Mike Tyson body. So it was like the heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Tyson. She's such a man. I love it.
The idea that whatever these really hard left policies that are extremely divisive, that are very hard for people that are considered in the middle, maybe lean right, even lean slightly left, that these policies are hard for all of us to digest. The idea that it can get even worse is just fucking mind-blowing.
It's actually unfathomable.
But
Like, how could we get much worse than this?
let Joe Biden get elected again. You will find out.
Did you see the video clip of like the Target in San Francisco? Did you see that clip? So there's a clip, maybe you can find it, Will, of a Target in San Francisco. Every single aisle is locked up with plexiglass. You can't get anything by yourself anymore. We've moved into this world where the stores don't trust people anymore. The Walmarts are all leaving Chicago, right? The cities are turning into dump holes, right? Like San Francisco, New York, Austin, LA. Like, we have some real degeneracy. We have some real de-evolution that's happening in our country, and it's not getting better. So for you to talk about 4 more years of a downward spiral, like, think about real estate,
exponential downward spiral.
right? Our fiat system, right? Everything is like being destroyed here. What is this? Is this it?
Can we hit that skip ad or what?
Yes, hit the skip ad, bro.
Bro, there's a skip ad. Skip ad.
Yeah. So this is how the targets are. This is how the targets are in San Francisco now, since there's so much looting that you literally can't get anything like toothpaste without having to go to the customer service and be like, hey, I want toothpaste. Can you unlock it for me so I can get my toothbrush? Like a razor. Like, you can't get even a razor without,
So what's really funny is that during Trump, Whole Foods decided that they were going to do these cashierless stores. Do you remember that?
The cashless stores? Yeah.
No, cashierless stores, where there are sensors and people go in and they scan you and you take what you want and they charge it automatically to your Amazon account.
Okay.
They rolled this out during Trump and they tested it.
Yeah, I
and
remember
they,
seeing
They did
some-
all over San Francisco and they were saying how it's amazing and how it works so well. I wonder how many of those still around.
Probably not, because
Fail.
because in California you can steal up to what, $1,000,
Yeah.
and they won't charge you with even a misdemeanor. They'll just be like, "You're a bad person. Don't do this again."
I saw the video of the convenience store owner that made everything in a store $1,001. So that you can't steal anything.
Oh, that's right. And he was giving out coupons for $1,000 off.
Yeah.
Right. That's brilliant. That's smart. We'll take that. That's good. So 4 more years of potential degradation. Is that where we're going?
The company is closing 8 Amazon Go cashierless stores across the country. No shit.
But see, this is where our world is going. We have looting. So let's extract for a second. Like, I feel like we're having all this cultural moral decay. And I feel like it's because there is no shared values anymore. Like,
Correct.
we are more divided on pick a topic, and there'll be people that are divided on either side, and like rabidly so, like would scream at you for being in the opposite side of them. And so we have so much division, and there's no shared accountability, there's no shared values, there's no shared principles, there's no shared culture anymore. And so because of that, like, people, this is weird for me to say it, it's rising up in my gut. Because we don't have shared values anymore, I don't think people actually know how to behave like as a responsible adult in society, in some of these cities especially. Like, they just don't realize that you're not supposed to go into a store and just grab shit. What's happening, Matt? Why is this happening?
Or they do know and they just don't fucking care.
I'll tell you, if I was in their position and I knew that I could steal $999 worth of shit and they would literally not charge me, bro, let's put that SARS mask on. Let's put that COVID mask on and let's go. Let's grab as many razors and as many Rice Krispie treats as I possibly can.
And we've talked about this on a multitude of topics, right? And sometimes just, I know it's wrong. I know I shouldn't do it, but I'm just going to do it one time, right? And then I'm
Sounds
just
like
gonna
a
do it
college excuse.
a second time.
What's the
and I'm
story
gonna do
behind
it a third
that?
time, and I'm going to do it a fourth time. And all of a sudden, it becomes a habit, right?
So, Matt, do you have an example of how you've been afflicted by this particular decision tree?
I feel like we all have for one thing or another, right? That's how a vice becomes a vice.
Yeah, that's true. That's
True. I don't think anyone ever thinks, I hope I become an alcoholic, or I hope I get addicted to porn.
Yeah.
Or
I want to. I really want to smoke a pack of Marlboro Reds every day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Never said nobody ever.
It's one of those things, like in everything else in life, where you have to have some sort of moderation and self-control, and it's that lack of discipline that we have.
But where's that? No one's reinforcing good discipline and good habits and good morals, and no one's modeling this stuff.
It comes from the top down, right?
So is it Joe Biden's fault?
I mean, who are our role models these days?
Well, the government believes that they're everybody's daddy.
I mean, I think it's really odd, right? See if you can find this one clip. I mean, one picture for me while we kind of wrap it up here. During Joe Biden's State of the Union address, all the Democrats, or a lot of Democrats, wore a pin.
Oh.
And the pin was, find me a I Heart New York t-shirt, okay? Find me that first. And then look for the abortion pin that people
What?
wore at the State of the Union address.
Really? I didn't know that.
They
Wow.
wore a pin. It says abortion with a heart.
No, you're lying.
The political debate is, abortion, and I don't agree with it, but some people could agree with abortion in certain scenarios, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see that case. And also, okay, at what time is actually a fetus, when is a human? Like, those are the debates people have,
Okay.
right? Between 1 week or 2 weeks or 4 weeks or inception or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, 7 months, whatever. This is debatable, I think. For them to wear a pin that says heart abortion, like, I love abortion? What the fuck that's weird.
It's a little weird because abortion functionally ends the life of a thing. Whether you consider it a thing or a human, it's ending the life.
And again,
So
the debate is there actual life? It hasn't been born yet.
regardless,
Right. Yeah.
you're ending the life of something. So to say that you're pro and actually promoting ending life is really, I think the way you said it is apropos. It's weird.
It's weird.
It's super weird.
See if you can find the. No, they're wearing these.
This is the socialist club, right? That you're showing us?
yeah,
Aren't
yeah.
these all the socialists in America right now?
See if you
all
can.
the ones who
no,
are
not the
literally
1870 button.
benefiting off all of the privileges of America, but
It's
yet hating
It's
on
a button that says abortion and has a heart in it.
let me just speak on that for just a second. That crushes my soul, dude. Like we are Korean American. We're in America. You and I have benefited off the plenty and the platitudes of America, and it really burns me when people diss.
I'm wearing my abortion pin to tonight's State of the Union address. Abortion essential. Abortion with a heart.
That's it's weird. It's awkward, and it just seems too aggressive. It's just too aggressive.
I understand the debate around if it's a necessary health care procedure, right? I understand that people will debate that, and I think it's a fair debate because people's perception of when life starts can differ. Fine. But it should be rare and an exception situation, not something that you do and you promote to do.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
You don't wear abortion with a heart in it unless you're promoting it.
They are clearly promoting it. So what are they promoting? They're promoting
Child sacrifice, which is
I was about to say the D-pop word that he doesn't like, but child sacrifice is a little rough, man, for a late night stream, bro.
Hey,
child sacrifice. We're going full Clinton right now,
All right, well,
Epstein.
last clip. Okay.
Last clip of the
find
day.
Tucker Carlson, Heritage Foundation. This is the last speech that he gave on Sunday before he got canceled.
Okay. Oh, I didn't hear this yet. So
This
should be
is
interesting.
a interesting one. It's like a 2 or 3 minute clip.
Let's watch it.
And it should be whatever they call it last. Well, not the whole. This is 36 minutes. Find the see if you can find a clip, whatever the most popular clip was. It should be his ending. It should be the ending to his speech. It's a really interesting thing. He talks about when people are actively promoting things that we all know to be bad and wrong. Why are they promoting evil? And he also says, look,
Can I
we should
give you
just pray.
a tweet? So I don't think I've told this to you before, but I'm telling you now. I have lots of tweets that are in drafts.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because I think of these ideas and I know that it's off color for me to say these things, but it's in my mind. So let me read you one that's in a draft that I haven't posted yet. It says, I know what woke means. Woke means willingly overlooking known evil.
Hmm.
Think about that. Woke means willingly overlooking known evil. The abortion, super weird. Some people would call it evil. So, under this context, if that old man so woke, he is willingly, right? He's willingly focused on known evil. So I want to get your opinion. Do you think woke, people who are woke, all the things that have happened, will go woke, go broke, is this a fitting acronym? Willingly overlooking known evil. Because if you think about it, a lot of the woke stuff is promoting child sacrifice. It's promoting clearly evil, not good stuff, or close to the damn line,
So
type stuff.
from a third party perspective, I think it makes 100% sense. From a inflective position, that word known really catches me. Do these people even know what they're doing is bad?
That's a good breakdown.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe they don't know it's wrong to mutilate kids.
Maybe they don't say it that way. Again, we've had this weird conversation where sometimes people don't think.
25 seconds? Maybe maybe that's it. Is it leftist insanity, the 50 second?
Yeah, maybe the 50-second one.
We're saying, I have an idea. Let's castrate the next generation.
this.
Let's sexually mutilate children. I'm sorry, that's not a political debate. What? It has nothing to do with politics. What's the outcome we're desiring here? An androgynous population? Is that really what are we arguing for that? I don't think anyone could defend that as a positive outcome. But the weight of the government and a lot of corporate interests are behind that.
Click on this one. Click on this one.
I'm not calling for a religious war, far from it. I'm merely calling for an acknowledgement of what we're watching, which is not one, and I'm certainly not backing the Republican Party. I mean, ugh. I'm not making a partisan point at all. I'm just noting what's super obvious. Like those of us who are in our mid-50s are caught in the past in the way that we think about this. One side's like, no, I've got this idea, and we've got this idea, and let's have a debate about our ideas. They don't want a debate. Those ideas won't produce outcomes that any rational person would want under any circumstances. Those are manifestations of some larger force acting upon us. It's just so obvious. It's completely obvious.
So it's
not
clips
calling for
like
religious
this
war,
because
far
he
from
was just dissing.
This was this weekend.
Yeah, he was just dissing on the trans movement.
All
He
of
was
it.
just dissing on
All of it.
which is essentially the current zeitgeist of our culture, which is we have this. I'll just say it how I see it. We have this social contagion. If you look at statistics, suddenly in just the last 3 years, boom, this huge growth of trans, blue-haired sheepdogs, and I truly believe it's a social contagion that is upon us. And so now he's attacking the zeitgeist. He can't. That's why he's getting fired. That's why he got fired. Because he's saying it's obvious that there's these puppet masters that have these strings. It's obvious. You can't say that to the hand that feeds.
We call it a mind virus.
Mind virus. I like
Mind
that too.
virus.
Mind virus. I'll take that.
It just duplicates and goes from person to person to person, and you don't even see it coming. People don't even realize. Again, we go back to the known evil. They don't even know.
You really think that's true? I find that hard to believe.
I think
It's so hard for me to believe that people truly don't think that when we talked about this, a 14-year-old can't buy beer, they can't buy cigarettes, they can't vote, they can't own a gun, they can't drive, they can't do any of this stuff, but they can cut off their dick and they can cut off their boobies.
I agree with you 1,000%. However, I think there are good people and bad people regardless of which side of the aisle you are. Good people are good people, bad people. I don't think just because you're a liberal or a hard liberal that you're a bad person.
Peace. Fully understood.
If we understand that, then I don't think they actively want a degradation of society. Maybe they are so far, what they believe is that they need to be so accepting and so understanding of all these fringe ideas and that's their rule, that they're actually doing a greater good. Although they may not agree with it 100%, just because they don't agree with it doesn't mean they won't accept it. And they're promoting acceptance to an extreme.
And so that's where tolerance becomes problematic.
Correct. It's a scary thing.
I can't-
It's a slippery slope.
Right. For you and I think I can put words in your mouth. You and I do not tolerate pedophiles.
No.
But in that ideology, even if it's super fringe and maybe really whack, that ideology of accepting and tolerating everyone has to be and take precedence over.
Weren't they redefining pedophilia?
Yes.
What was it?
No, they're redefining it now.
Yeah. What was the new word?
It's
they
called
used?
minor attracted.
Minor attracted.
It's fucked up.
It always starts by redefining
It's
the
fucked.
vocabulary.
That's so fucked up, bro.
It always starts by redefining what the words are.
Someone comes to me and says I'm minor attracted, I'd probably just punch him in the neck. Like, bro,
Maybe they didn't know what that means. Maybe I'm like, I'm
No,
minor attracted to you. Like, I'm kind of just a little bit, you know? And like, what the fuck? I was telling you I like you.
no, you weren't talking like that. Especially the way that you're looking dressed and the way that your eye skull fucking me right now down at Ponce de Leon while I'm getting my pizza. Actually, I'm actually projecting a story that I had. I was down on Ponce de Leon getting a slice of pizza down there one time and had this pretty, let's just say, flagrantly flamboyant individual who was just accosting me to no end and just hooting and hollering and basically saying I'm a nice piece of ass. I tell you,
You felt special?
I did. I did feel special, but at the same time, I was greatly offended.
It's a little bit of both. It's conflicting.
I had weird feelings in my pants for the first time, Will.
So
Do not come.
we understand that this country could be better.
For sure.
We understand that although Make America Great Again is a political catchphrase, there's still meaning to making America great again.
I agree.
This at one point was the greatest country on the history of the world. It is in a weird spot right now. Doesn't mean it cannot be again.
I'll give you a counter argument. I still think America is still the greatest country on the planet. We are not headed in the right direction.
Correct.
In my opinion. And I think you would agree with that. But I still think it's the best country in the world. There are still millions of people who would like to be where we're sitting right now.
I agree. However, if we would like America to stay at the top,
1 million subscribers to Matt Kim's podcast so we can go into local government politics and start changing the world from the inside out, guys.
be active, talk to people, have conversations. And we're going to get into this another day, but definitely go out and vote.
Ooh. Oh, this is good. That would be a good time. I don't vote.
I know, which is why we're going to save that for another time because I am very upset that you did not.
Really?
Yes.
You're upset?
I am. I think you should.
Republicans and Democrats are both socialists, taking my money and giving it to other countries.
Correct.
What's the difference?
I mean, why not vote then?
I just find it fascinating that people who hate guns love giving all their tax money to arm other people in other
Okay,
countries.
but why not vote?
Okay, we're not going to get into it right now, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Peace.